Here's a lesson I've learned. Don't stress over things you can't change, and you can't change the past. There are many things in life beyond our control, so it's a waste of time to worry about them. Instead, focus on what you can change. The only thing you can truly control is your thoughts. When you change the way you think, it changes how you feel and act. This leads to different results and helps you achieve new goals. Learn from your setbacks. This is a key trait of successful men and women. Whenever they face a problem or difficulty, they take a step back, analyze it, and learn everything they can from it. They try to find general principles from each setback. They ask themselves, what valuable lesson can I learn? So look at everything that has happened to you. Think about the most difficult experience you are facing right now and ask yourself, what is the most valuable lesson I can learn from this? Believe me, if you search for the lesson in the Bible, it says seek and you shall find. It doesn't say seek. And sometimes you might find something that says seek and you shall find. If you look for the valuable lesson or the potential benefit in every difficulty, you will find it. It is always there. I love the saying from Socrates that goes, the unexamined life is not worth living. This means that a life where you don't take the time to think about your experiences isn't fulfilling. Aristotle added to this by saying that wisdom comes from both experience and reflection. The reason many people lack wisdom is that they only have experience after experience but never take the time to think about what these experiences mean. They don't sit back and reflect on what is happening to them or what they are learning from their experiences. Taking time to reflect is what helps turn experiences into wisdom. How many of you have seen people leave bad relationships only to quickly get into another bad one? Or seen people leave a terrible job just to start a new one that's just as bad? What do people usually do when they get fired or quit a job? They go down the street and look for another job exactly like the one they left. We all agree that we should have high self-esteem, but what's the problem? The problem is negative emotions. The biggest challenge we face is dealing with negative emotions and negative habits. Positive habits like joy, love, humor, happiness, and compassion improve our lives. But negative emotions are our greatest enemy. We can only improve our lives as much as we can free ourselves from these negative emotions. The good news is that no child is born with negative emotions. All negative emotions are learned as we grow from infancy onward. This is good because if negative emotions were a part of us, like our eye color, hair color, or height, we wouldn't be able to get rid of them. But negative emotions aren't genetic or fixed. They're learned. Because they are learned, we can also unlearn or relearn them. This means we can disrupt the negative emotion patterns we've picked up over time. Throughout history, successful people have always focused on the opportunities of tomorrow instead of being held back by negative emotions. Average people often dwell on the problems of the past. Many psychologists, psychiatrists, and counselors focus on helping people talk about their past and why it makes them unhappy. However, you can't change the past. The only thing you can do with the past is learn from it and then let it go. So learn from your past experiences, let them go, and then turn your attention to the future. There's a wonderful saying. When you turn toward the sunshine, the shadows fall behind you. This means that when you focus on the future and all its possibilities, you naturally become happier. The negative events of the past, which you can't change, will fall behind you. That's your task. I have a question for you. What is the most important and highest paid work in America? The answer, though it might seem tricky, is thinking. Thinking is the most important work we do. Thomas Edison said, thinking is the hardest work of all. That's why most people would rather die than think. Thinking is the most important thing you do because the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your decisions. The quality of your decisions then determines the quality of your actions. The quality of your actions determines the quality of your results, and your results determine the quality of your life. Now let's talk about negative emotions. The roots of the negative emotion tree are mainly two things. First, there's justification. It's impossible to have a negative emotion or feeling unless you can justify it. You need to explain why you feel entitled to this negative emotion, why what someone else did or didn't do makes you feel this way. But if we stop justifying our negative emotions, they start to disappear. The Bible, a book full of psychological and spiritual wisdom, says in the Sermon on the Mount, judge not that you be not judged when you judge, you become a hanging judge, always condemning others. This leads to justifying negative emotions, which only affects you, not the other person. So if we stop justifying our negative emotions, they will begin to fade away. Here's another important discovery. You can only think one thought at a time. You can either think a positive thought or a negative thought, but not both at the same time. If you think a positive thought, it pushes out all negative thoughts. If you think a negative thought, it pushes out all positive thoughts. When you repeatedly think a certain way, you develop a habit. Successful people have the habit of thinking positively all the time. What is the most positive thought of all? It's thinking about what you want, the things that make you happy, and the future you want to create. Successful people always focus on the future. They think and talk about the people they love, their families, and their homes. They think and talk about their business, money, and success. Most of the time, they are thinking and talking about what they want and where their life is going. This positive focus helps them stay motivated and move toward their goals. If you get used to thinking about what you want, your life will start to change. Imagine a big ship in the ocean. When you begin to think new thoughts, the ship changes its course and you end up in a new place. Researchers at the University of Chicago have studied behavior for 25 years. They discovered that the biggest obstacle to success is when people feel helpless. They think they can't change their situation because they don't have enough money, time, skills, or friends. They might be broke and feel like they have lost everything. This feeling of helplessness makes them feel hopeless and passive, preventing them from taking action to improve their lives. The truth is that there has never been a better time than now for you to achieve big goals in the history of the Western world. Sure, we have a lot of problems today, but we have always had problems. They might seem bigger now, but every problem brings a chance for creative people to find solutions and make money or contribute to society. So even if you feel helpless, you are not. That's why you should keep telling yourself, I can do it. I can achieve anything I set my mind to. Being courageous means you are willing to face your fears. Over the years, I've learned that brave people are not those who are never afraid. Instead, they are the ones who control their fears and confront them. Mark Twain once said, "Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain." This means that by facing what you are afraid of, your fear will eventually disappear. Fear and courage can become habits. If you are scared and always back away, you get used to avoiding things that make you afraid. But if you are scared and make yourself face the fear, you get used to confronting it. When you face your fears, most of them disappear. Fears like failing, being rejected, losing something, feeling pain, having limitations, losing a relationship, or getting sick often vanish when you meet them head on. It's like they turn into smoke and disappear as you push through them. Be brave and move forward in your life. Aim to reach your full potential. You can't feel good about yourself and be negative at the same time. You can't like yourself and feel angry or worried at the same time. Your mind can only hold one thought at a time, either positive or negative. Remember, the only thing you can control in this world is your own thinking. If you control how you think about things, you can control how you feel, how you act, and what your future will be like. There are about 54 negative emotions mentioned in textbooks, but the worst ones are fear, doubt, envy, resentment, jealousy, hatred, and anger. Fear is a very strong negative emotion. Doubt, which we've already talked about, is also very harmful. Envy and resentment often come together like twin sisters. If you envy someone's success, you also resent them for it. Jealousy, which Shakespeare called the green-eyed monster, is another bad emotion. It usually happens when people have low self-esteem and feel like they are not good enough. Then there is hatred, and worst of all, there is anger. The Greek philosopher Epictetus once said that circumstances do not shape a person. They just show who they really are. This means that our character is not made by the situations we face, but by how we respond to them. Throughout life, we will always have problems and difficulties. Does anyone here have problems? Yes, we all do. It's how we handle these problems that matters. We can't control the problems, but we can control how we react to them. Life is a continuous series of problems. Abraham Maslow said that the highest goal of human growth is to achieve self-actualization. Self-actualization is when you feel every day that you are becoming everything you are capable of becoming. You feel like you are always growing, setting bigger goals, learning more, doing more, and becoming better. Maslow found that only about 2% of people reach this high level of self-actualization. These people feel that their life is amazing, full of exciting things, and they are happy and cheerful most of the time. They get along well with others. He called this state being and said that achieving self-actualization fulfills a deep personal need. He said that 98% of people are always trying to make up for their inner problems. They are constantly dealing with their worries, doubts, fears, and past experiences. Only 2% reach self-actualization. It's like someone has put a negative message in your mind that makes you not like yourself. When a new positive message hits this old negative one, it creates a conflict called cognitive dissonance. This conflict feels like stress and discomfort. The law of control says you feel good about yourself when you feel in control of your life. Psychologists call this a sense of coherence or a sense of control. When you feel in control, you feel happy and at peace. On the other hand, you feel bad about yourself when you think you are not in control of your life. You may feel controlled by your bills, your boss, your health, your debts, your family, or your obligations. When you feel out of control, you feel very stressed. One of the most important things you can learn is self-responsibility. This idea is becoming very popular in America. There is a direct link between how much responsibility you take for your life and how much control you feel you have. The more control you feel, the happier you are. So if you want to be happy, have high self-esteem, and be positive, you need to accept responsibility for your life. The first step to accepting responsibility is simple. Just say to yourself, if it's to be, it's up to me, repeat these words. I am responsible whenever something makes you angry, upset, or frustrated. Remind yourself, wait, I am responsible. The truth is, you are responsible for your reactions and actions. It's amazing how much time and effort smart people spend trying to avoid responsibility by blaming others. What is the key to responsibility? The key is to stop blaming other people and making excuses. Instead, you should say, I am where I am and what I am because of myself. If we are not happy with our situation, it's up to us to change it. Remember, if it's to be, it's up to me. Someone once said, I'm a self-made man, but if I had to do it over, I'd get some outside help. This means that we all shape our own lives to some extent. If we're not happy with where we are, we can take control of our lives, accept responsibility, and change our direction. We have the power to steer our lives the way we want. The key to handling change today is accepting responsibility. When you accept responsibility, you feel more in control. This sense of control boosts your confidence and makes you a happier person. It helps you become effective, focused on the future, and driven to achieve your goals. All around the world, the top people in every organization are those who say, I am responsible. Harry Truman, the former US president, was famous for saying, the buck stops here. This meant he took responsibility for everything that happened. The day you start saying, I am responsible for my life, and if I'm not happy with something, it's up to me to change it, is the day everything will start to change for you. Taking responsibility is the first step toward a better, more fulfilling life. The only way to stop failing is to start succeeding, and you do that by setting a goal. When you set a goal, you change as a person. It's like flipping a switch, and suddenly your whole life begins to change. Why are some people more successful than others? Why do some people make more money, live happier lives, and accomplish more in the same amount of time than most people? What's the real secret to success? I often start a seminar with a simple exercise. I ask the audience, how many people here would like to double their incomes? Almost everyone smiles and raises their hands. Then I ask, how many people here would like to lose weight, get out of debt, and achieve financial independence? Again, everyone smiles, some people cheer, and they all raise their hands. I then say, wonderful, these are great goals that everyone has. We all want to make more money, spend more time with our families, be fit and healthy, and achieve financial independence. We all want the same things in life, and we know what we need to do to get them. We even plan to do these things at some point. But instead of starting now, we often decide to take a break and go to a dreamy place we call Someday Isle. We tell ourselves that someday we'll read that book, start exercising, learn new skills to earn more money, manage our finances, and get out of debt. We have all these plans for the future, but we keep pushing them off to someday. In reality, about 80% of people spend most of their time on Someday Isle. They think, dream, and imagine all the things they will do one day, but they never actually start doing them. And who are the people on Someday Isle surrounded by? Other people who are also on Someday Isle. What do they talk about the most? Excuses. They all sit together and share reasons for being on the island. They ask each other, why are you here? And unsurprisingly, their excuses sound very similar. I didn't have a happy childhood. I didn't get a good education. I don't have any money. My boss is really critical. My marriage is not good. No one appreciates me. Economy's terrible. They suffer from a condition called excusitis, which always prevents success. They all have good intentions, but as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The first step to success is simple. Decide to leave Someday Isle. Stop making excuses. Either do it or don't, but don't come up with reasons for not taking action. Don't use your smart brain to create excuses for not doing something. Just do something. Do anything. Keep moving forward. Tell yourself, if it's going to happen, it's up to me. Losers make excuses. Winners make progress. How can you tell if your excuse is valid? It's easy. Look around and ask, is there anyone else with the same excuse who is successful anyway? When you ask this question honestly, you'll see that there are thousands or even millions of people who have faced worse situations than you, but have still done amazing things with their lives. If they can do it, so can you. If you try. People say that if we put as much effort into reaching our goals as we do into making excuses for not reaching them, we would surprise ourselves with what we can achieve. But first, you have to decide to leave Someday Isle. Not many people start with lots of advantages. I didn't finish high school. I worked tough jobs for several years. I had little education, few skills, and a future that didn't look very promising. Then I started asking myself, why are some people more successful than others? This question changed my life. Over the years, I've read thousands of books and articles about success and achievement. The reasons for success have been explored and written about in every possible way for more than 2,000 years. One thing that most philosophers, teachers, and experts agree on is that self-discipline is very important. Discipline helps you resist making excuses. It is self-discipline that lets you decide to leave Someday Isle. It's the key to having a great life. Without self-discipline, lasting success is not possible.